Hello, everyone. Welcome to the trip. This is DWTT, your director, navigator, and all of that. And I've got with me Tony Turner from the Oklahoma Turners. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Kind of
Cool.
wonder if I want you as a director or not.
If you want what?
You as a director, you can be the navigator or
It's been that way for a while now.
co-pilot.
Maybe I haven't said it out loud, but it's been that way for a while now. So
You,
you might have not
you,
wanted it, you might have not liked it, but you've been living with it.
you've waited over 2.5 years to
Yeah.
declare it.
Yes. Yeah. Hello there. So we've got BX in the house. Welcome to the show, BX Gunner. Got Lonzo in the house. Welcome to the show. All right. So, Tony, I don't know if you saw my title. Uh, Spencer will be in, but he'll be late. So, we will we'll just do what we got to do. If he wants to fill in later on, he can. But we'll get started here. I think I said hi to be yeah. All right. So you had hi to the the early uh the early visitors, and then we'll see who else joins us. So let's get into it. So as you saw my title,
Right.
you look at the score. It's 4-2, but I don't know about you, but I felt like we once again left a number of goals on the pitch this weekend. Easily could have been a really higher score, a bigger gap, and all of that, an easier game. Maybe even one that you could bring on players that probably deserve more minutes. But because we aren't clinical, aren't efficient, and our defense seems to lapse every so often, it seems like that's been happening a little bit too much sometimes for me. It's a little consistent that the defense will kind of like fall asleep at some point. And I'll let you have your say in a second. Everybody will say hi to Nick. Welcome to the show, Nick. Yeah, but Tony, what do you think about the title? When
Yeah,
four, when a 4-2 win means more attacking work is needed.
I agree with you because this is something we've talked about for a year and a half now. Arsenal not being clinical enough. Only really, to me, the only one you got, the Belgian. He can go out there and do what he wants. That own goal for me, I think he definitely did it on purpose. The way he looked at the player, it looked like that was in his bag. I'm gonna ricochet it off him into the back of the net. So I definitely think that was a goal. Whether or not it ever shows up for a goal with him doesn't matter. But that was a goal from him, and that got us away from the 2-2 tie that we should have never been at. I mean, that game being 2-2, the way we were just putting our throat on them, just shouldn't happen. Then you start off the second half, gas pedal off just in a second. And I don't think it's a coincidence since Calafiori's came on, we've allowed the 4 goals we've allowed, went away from clean sheets. I think it takes a while for the partnerships and stuff, but I definitely
It's
have to kind
interesting
of
you say that, but I mean, the goals came from the left side, right? So they would have come on Timber's side. So the goals, I mean, at least the first goal, and like I get the Calafiori may be causing a little bit of a breakdown in the defense, but
uh,
I don't think the last goal was all Calafiori in the City match, and I don't think the first goal was Calafiori in the first in this past game. as you recall, right, we took the 2-0 lead, right? You go
Yeah.
into halftime, and I've said this so many times. What is he telling them in halftime? How did we second half? Do you remember that? Came out and within 5 minutes we had 2 yellow cards on our defenders.
That's
So
why I say we took the foot off the
so
gas
so
right
whatever's
after.
being said at halftime, and I keep saying it, stop. Stop. Calafiori ball watching, yeah, I think the thing about Calafiori that I think it's a double-edged sword. He will push on the attack. His defense, I think, is better than Zinchenko, but he will push, and I think when we don't score, that punishes us when, say, the eagerness that he has gets, breaks down the defense a little bit. All right. I
Yeah,
didn't know
it's
this.
it's
Looks like Pete Rose just passed away. Wow. Pete Rose passed away. We had one
yeah.
of the
How
wow.
old was he? He had to be pretty old.
Yeah. No, like I said, I kind of felt like the goals that were given up. We may can blame them on Calafiori, but I think as a whole our defense was the fact that if you recall before the goal was scored, and this is something I complain about as well. When our midfield breaks down, because that's what's happened in every game, our midfield has broken down, and when that happens, our back line retreats all the way to basically to the penalty spot, and allows the attackers to just dribble all the way into the attacking third with nobody marking them at all. Puts a lot of pressure on them, and then you're waiting for your midfield to catch up, and they never do because you know what? The other team realizes, look, this is the only time I got, this is the only chance I got to do this. So for me, I think it's a bit of the midfield breaking down as much as it is Calafiore maybe being a little bit a little bit eager there as well.
But
Um,
in this game, I think Rice was being eager too because he was on the attacking end of a lot of the play.
yeah, yeah. You know what? Think about it. If we are more clinical with our shooting, right? They won't probably even get those chances. All right.
Yeah,
If you're up, if we had scored them, if we had scored 3 or 4 goals in the first half, like we possibly could have, totally different game in the second half. We may still give up the 2 goals, but we may still score another 2 goals. And I think that's the problem that we have sometimes is that we let teams back in because we don't continue to attack, and we let teams back in is because we can't complete we can't complete the actual play and putting the ball in the net.
and it seemed like our plan was let's get the ball off the corner off Gabriel's head. To me, it seems like half a goal attempts from Gabriel. The stats are probably a little different, but it looked like he.
If you have a weapon and you use it, that's like almost saying like I got Harlan. As long as I give him the ball in the 18, he's going to score. So should I not do that?
Oh, you can do it, but it seemed like that was
So
there.
then I don't get it. Why would you take one of the threats that you have on the goal and go, you know what? It's not a typical one, so I shouldn't do it. No, if you have an advantage, you take advantage of the opponent. If they can't beat you in the air, then you beat them. Think about it. We talked about this how many times? You want a striker who's good in the air. Well, you know what? We have a defender who's good in the air, and when we get set pieces, that gives him the ability to get into the position, right? So why wouldn't you when you have those? It's not like we are. It's not like we walk. I don't believe we walk up there and go. You know what? Let's see if we can get some corners here. I think the reason why we get corners is because we miss our mark. We're so slow on our attack sometimes that the ball gets deflected out. That's why we get the corners. But if we're putting the ball in the net, he's not getting any opportunities. So I kind of feel like we're taking what we give ourselves, even though we should be giving ourselves goals with assists behind them. We're not doing that from open play. All right. So for me, Nick Valley, we'll get into the PSG in a little bit, but we're just talking about this game right now. yeah. So Pete Rose has passed away. Matombo has passed away. I mean, this is crazy. Yeah, it's really
No, no,
sad
no,
day.
Gary. Can I do that
No,
sometime
no,
too?
no, no, no. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that Major League Baseball did as well. They should have inducted him as a player. If they really wanted to be nitpicky about it, as a player, he deserved to be in. As a manager, probably not, if that's their rules, all right? But you know, so yeah. So yeah, I think he
Yeah.
should have got in regardless. At some
So
point,
it shouldn't have been a lifetime ban. So now does he get in that he's dead?
yeah, and you kind of you're not hurting, you're not helping your sport once again. It doesn't help your sport when you keep Pete Rose out. That's all I'm gonna say. He did break the ultimate rule, but guess what? I guess how many people broke the ultimate rule? Alex Rodriguez broke a rule, right? Is he
Yeah.
still is he in the Hall of Fame? Are they going to kick him out? No. I kind of felt, I feel like a lot of these players that have done, have cheated the game as opposed to bet on the game are able to get in sometimes. So I kind of feel like doing their
Minus Bonds, which should be in there because
Bonds pre head swell should be in, right? Gary Sheffield pre head swell should have been in. I mean, his Pittsburgh days, right? Their Pittsburgh days, right? Really
yeah,
good batters. They left Pittsburgh, got big heads, and things happen. But I kind of felt like you hurt your sport sometimes. It's they want to keep it clean, but it's not clean. It's not clean. So yeah, no.
I mean, what are you gonna have like your dirty aisle in the Hall of Fame
Is
or
there, he is a really good baseball player, Pete Rose.
yeah,
It's what he gets in for. I mean, we've got triple. You've got what is it? Triple. What's it called? Triple. What's it called when you lead the league in home runs or RBIs and hits or whatever? Average triple threat or whatever they call it in baseball.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what they
I can't
call
even
it.
think of the name of it right now, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
yeah, like Bonds and Griffey, not Bonds and Griffey, Bonds and Sheffield, Triple Crown. That's right, Triple Crown. They were they could do that. All right, Sheffield definitely right. I think he even won it, but Barrier
yeah,
Bonds was at that level as well. Yeah, I mean these guys all cheated, right? So but I just feel like the sport was tainted. Like I think baseball created that, and then they wanted to clean their hands of it. So that's
then
where
like with like Bonds, for me, Bonds he has an all-time number of walks. They always try to pass him up, and they couldn't. Nobody else of the home run hitters that are in there
yeah, that San
got near
Francisco
as many
season, right? He
walks.
would get walked like 3 times. They gave him the one pitch and he hit it, right? I mean, it's not yeah, there might be a little bit it might be a little bit tainted in that sense, but it takes a good eye to see that. You got to see it and then hit it before the cheating comes in, right? So, yeah,
His
Rafael
hit,
Primero is a little bit of a yeah, yeah.
his
Got
hitting
Brownie in the
per
house. Brownie, welcome to the show. We're talking a little bit of baseball here because Pete Rose has passed away and Matombo has passed away, so got blocks and shots. We're talking about here, but yeah, now, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, like I said, we get back to the game. I kind of felt like what happens, Tony. You probably seen this in other sports, right? Uh, your the offense and defense depend on each other. The defense has to continually make stops, make stops, right? Defend, defend, defend. Offense on the other side fails to complete their dinner.
yeah.
At some point, it gets a little frustrating, and a defense that was been solid kind of falls asleep a little bit because they're looking at the other side of the pitch, going, "Damn it! How many times are they going to miss? I mean, how many times was it? Okay, that should be a goal. did you say in that game? At least for me, at least 5 to 6 times in that game. You were sitting
especially in
there
the
going,
first half.
you're like in a total game. You're like, there's 5 or 6 goals that you hit half of them. We're up, we're potentially up 4 or 5 nil at halftime, or we score 5 goals. Do they score the 2 goals? I don't think so, but just because everybody's like, because then we can refresh, right? But it wears on you when you see your team not finish their dinner. I mean, I think for the coach, and that's when sometimes he needs to make a change, especially like when you're putting yourself in a position to score and it doesn't work. Yeah, yeah. So
I still think you need to limit how much Timber and Calamari are going forward because
call a man
this
by
week
his name. His name is Calafiore. All right,
I said it right,
Calafiore. No, you said calamari. I heard you.
but the first time I said
No, no, just the
Calamari,
last time is the only one I really care about.
it's a good name for him. He's
That's not
Italian.
his
He can
name.
just
Yeah, no, like I said, I feel like,
well. You
I
better watch out when you start saying our cheddar. I'll stay up to
yeah,
my
I'm
nose.
gonna have to, yeah, yeah, yeah. I might say it, but it's not. I'm not trying to be funny. I just can't pronounce his name. Yeah, that's a big difference.
I
You
just
you
put like a
pronounced his name, and
I,
then you like decided you're gonna go try to when you try to be
no,
mean.
I
Mean.
did not decide to. I just that's what I've been calling him in my head. So it came
I
out my
heard
mouth.
that. Yeah, yeah, and you. All right, so here we go. So we talked about the score and the goals and the defense and all of that. I tell you, and I tell you this all the time as well, right? I'll take results over performance, right?
Yep.
Results over. Sorry, I'll take performance over results, right? Because you can work. You're gonna win more games if your performance is consistent. All right.
Yep.
In that first 45 minutes, our performance was good. We just weren't clinical. That's the next 20 minutes of that second half. Performance was terrible, right?
Yeah,
But
I just we do that so often. We put ourselves in cruise mode just to start that second half, and I'm like, you, what the hell is Arteta saying to him? That's getting him to.
I'm telling you, in halftime, I have a feeling. Here's what I think the halftime speech is. We got him 2-0. There's nothing to improve on. So there's nothing to do any different when in reality, hello, put the ball in the net, right? That ball needs to sting in the goalkeeper's hands. I don't want him catching any of your shots because you didn't put any thought, any power behind it. Put the ball in the net. Walk it in if you have to, but put the ball in the net, right? Hit the back of the net on your shots, right? Take a
Yeah,
fraction of a second to gather up a little bit of steam and put the ball in the net. Guess what? Put the ball in the net. When you get in the final third, put the ball in the net. That's it. All right. That's all I
yeah,
want. All right. If I'm the coach, that's what I want. Right. So I kind of felt like I think that's what needs to be said because they don't look like they want to do that. So
yeah.
yeah,
And they just don't look like they want to something you like to shout at them, just shoot. It doesn't look like they want to really shoot it. It looks like they just want to pass it in and walk it in. When it comes into the walking in part, they don't do it.
they don't even do the walking in part. They're too busy. Look, like one, they're looking for the pass first, and I'm like, for me, that's the difference between what I think people when people try to compare Saka to Palmer. They look at what he does with the ball. Palmer, I think, is passing is shooting first, right? He's shooting first, and then maybe he passes when it's not there. Whereas I think Arteta's got his guys looking to pass first. When you get in the final third, passing is done. You pass to get into the final third. You don't pass once you're there. We're looking to pass. All right, Stefan, welcome
Yep.
to the show. I don't know if I said hi to you, but welcome. So yeah, no, I kind of felt like that's what's going on. And that's why we look so bad sometimes, is we're too busy thinking. And you know anything about sports? When you're thinking, guess what? You think long, you make a mistake.
Yeah,
It's just supposed to react to what's going on in front of you. So I don't know.
so
Yeah,
definitely the attack like hurts us. But still, just that way we come out in the second half kind of hurts us as well. And
mm,
this game was never a 2-2 game. It should have been a 5-0 game.
for real, for sure. I mean, the first shot, right? That one, the reason why that shot happens is because we let them in, right? We let them
Yep.
into the final third on like with no, like they didn't have to work for it. They didn't have to work for the second one either. If you see how easy, like I get, I get. All right, they're on the attack. We don't want to give up space, but somebody has to move up to the ball, right? Somebody has to move up to the ball.
It's like everybody just veers away from
Yeah,
it. And
I say somebody has to come up and stop the ball, slow the ball down. They don't have to get beat by it, but just make them hesitate just a second and let the defense catch up that just screwed up in front of you, right? Because that's what happens sometimes. The defense makes a mistake, gets turned. Next thing you know, they're chasing. But like our defense is retreating back and back and back, as opposed to somebody coming up and maybe meeting the ball. So for me, I think that's where bad things happen. And
I still
yeah,
think that's a lot down the way Arteta plays his fullbacks because you're only having Gabriel and Saliba, and they're too far forward a good amount of the time. But I think he just plays in that dangerous way. If they get past your midfield and you got your two fullbacks up there, you're screwed because it's either going to be Gabriel or Saliba running the backtrack, and there's like
yeah, I
somebody should backtrack to cut them off,
yeah.
but they don't. I don't think we have the speed to do it for one thing.
Yeah, I hear you, but in this particular game, at least unless I missed it, unless I didn't see it, we had our fullbacks back. We had all four of our back line back. We just all retreated, like all of them, all four on the back line just all retreated, allow them to get into, essentially get into the box before we actually decided to make a stop. Yeah, so like I said, I kind of felt like that's what happened there, and we shouldn't. I mean, like I said, at some point somebody has to come up and make a stop, but we don't do that. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and I was as I said, I was talking about Saka and Cole Palmer, and Saka is the first player I think to start a season with 6 assists in 6 games, right?
Yep.
And you know what? And that's for me him not even on the attack as much as I would love for him to be. Just think if he actually attacked more. He might have 3 to 6 goals to go with the 6 assists.
He's definitely going back and being on the defensive end, and when he gets the ball, he's looking to pass instead of looking to shoot. And Kerry rule is when you're in the final 20 yards, 25 yards, just shoot the ball. Because you got enough players that can score if you get a rebound. You should have a good opportunity off a rebound.
I'm with you.
And you never see us hardly do that. You don't see those rebounds and
Because
shot right
because how
after.
many of our shots actually sting the goalkeeper's hand or hit a post with a little bit of force on it? Barely ever. It's like we're passing into the net. And that's
Wow,
because for you know what it is for me, it's always the foot placement, man.
like we're wafting that to the goalkeeper. Here you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brownie, I mean, I would agree with you if that was the case, but that's not the case. Sack has had more than enough opportunities one-on-one to take the ball. He invites the double more than it comes at him right away. He gets that ball most of the time. It's just one-on-one. He does the little thing where he kind of steps over the ball and kind of drags the ball around, and then they come in and they try to squeeze him. Right when he takes the ball to the goal line, he always gets there. He just needs some support. There's never everybody. There's not enough people cutting in when he has the ball, so he can make that pass. We saw that in that. We actually saw that a lot in that in the Leicester City game. We saw a lot of guys cutting through the spaces and passes happening, and people being open in front of the goal and just missing their chances. We saw a lot of that in the first half.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I don't. I Lolo, I don't think any of that matters. What we're doing on the left side, Sack is always going to get his. I think he just needs to take it a little bit more. Yeah, the left side just means now we can beat you from both sides. But like for me, I think he's always had those opportunities. He always waits for the double, and even the double comes and they still can't get the ball off of him, and he still can break him down. I just think that I would like to see it more. I want to. He shouldn't have to play 90 minutes in a game because if he's starting and he's playing, he's going to score enough goals. He's going to have to. He's going to come off after 60, 70 minutes anyways. That's where he should be. But we don't do that. This game should have been over in the first 60 minutes. Like in that second half, we should have come out there, get our first 2 to 3 goals in that part of the game, and then move on. All right, and we
Yeah.
didn't do that.
And I feel the same there on the left wing too. It's like whoever is starting over there should do the 60 to 70 minutes. I think both our wingers should probably be changing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think a lot of times Stock is just kept on because he has a defensive ability
Yeah. Yeah.
in him. So I think that's one reason he doesn't come off so much.
Yeah. No, I get that, Lolo, but he gets the ball in space with enough time to not wait for the double and triple to come at him. And I think the thing that doesn't happen is when if 2 defenders or 3 defenders come at him, all of our team is just watching him. Not we saw, like I said, I saw it in the last game. People are they're going in there to get there's an overlap right now because who's on the right? Timber's there, and he'll overlap sometimes, and then you saw Havertz come over and get into the mix, and then we see good things happen. We saw that with Ben White a lot, right? But I kind of feel like that's always there, and if it's not Ben White, then it should be Havertz, or in some cases it would be Erdegaard coming over in there, right? So that would be
Yeah.
what is that Trossard, right?
Yep.
So I kind of felt like we just need more. He can't be over there by himself, and that's what happens. Nobody else comes over to support him, so he's got to do it all work by himself. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to learn to. I think he needs a forward first touch instead of, like you
Yeah.
said, sweeping the back behind himself. It's just
Yeah.
take the ball and go, because you're not gonna have the players up there. I don't think.
Yeah. See, what I find funny is Brownie says Leicester are no mugs. They're sitting right above the relegation line right now.
Yeah,
And even if they had won, they would still be sitting in 14th place. So Arsenal's not at a point where teams in the bottom half of the table should be giving them trouble. It doesn't matter how tough they are. We're a better team, I believe. So they're no mugs, but we should be beating them by 3 and 4 goals.
I don't care what they did in the championship last year. That doesn't translate into Premier League success, because they were a terrible team last year in the Premier League. I can't believe how bad they were. Should have never got relegated, but
Yeah.
where they played was horrible.
All right, Lonzo. See ya. You're going to get ice cream. Enjoy. Yeah, Calafiore and Timber definitely gives us a little bit a different dynamic than what we had, last year with Ben White and I guess it was Kyrgios at some points and Zinchenko. So definitely I like that. But as Tony said, in his eyes, the defense is a little bit of lapse there. So for me, I think it's like I said, it's a double edged sword. You get more on the attacking side. That's why you need to score because you might give up a little bit on the defensive side. I feel when you have Zinchenko, you're giving up a lot on the defensive side. So I don't see the as much of a positive with him there. So yeah, yeah, and that team playing Leicester beat that team. That's not saying much. That team just beat Manchester United 3-0, right? So when we play Manchester United, should it be a close game? It shouldn't, right? And the, before we continue on, we're gonna let Spencer join us. Spencer is out there saving the animals.
Yeah, it's been an interesting Monday. Sorry for my tardiness,
Yeah,
Gary. I do apologize. Tony, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm here, so not
Yeah.
too bad.
yeah. We've
Yeah, we're
been
good, man. We're good.
cool, cool. We're talking about the game, talking about scoring, defense. Got into some baseball. Talking about I guess baseball and basketball as well, because
Yeah.
Pete Rose and Matumbo both passed away today.
Pete Rose
Sad day in
passed
the
away?
sports. Yes, what
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit. Excuse my
yeah,
language. I didn't
yeah,
know that one.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's a crazy day. It usually
Wow.
happens in threes, they say, right? So I'm not sure.
Wow.
I know the one of the wizards from Harry Potter movie. She passed. Maggie Smith, I think, passed away. So I'm not sure if that's the three they were talking about, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's wild. I did not know Pete. I'd seen Matumbo had passed. I was with my buddy Robin when I got that news. This one's and actually Robin's a massive Cincinnati Reds Pete Rose fan, huge.
Mhm.
That's very upsetting to hear.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
but happy Monday.
yes, yeah. But just think, Leicester has scored 8 goals this season.
Hmm.
Wolves have scored 6. So, and Wolves is sitting at the bottom of the table right now. So the fact that we gave up 2 goals to them, disappointing defensively. If we had scored 8 goals and they had scored 2, I could live with it. But we didn't score the 8. We had to score 2 late. And yeah. Now, Brownie, you're right. Anybody can be anybody, but guess what? When you're fighting for a championship, less teams will beat you. That's just the way it
Yeah.
goes. That's the way it happens, right? If you're that good, then at least few teams will beat you. You might get a freak one, but more teams than not will fall to you.
I mean, I'll say
Yeah.
that second goal was an amazing shot from Justin James. We
Yep.
should have never given him that opportunity.
Well, I see. It's everybody's talking about the shot, and I'm talking about the defense before the shot. The
Yes.
Who knows what happened in the midfield before that? Who knows if we have an opportunity to score and we didn't even take the opportunity? And so you basically all those things just whittle down into they get an opportunity. Defense rolling back every time, as opposed to somebody coming up and stopping the ball. Right? We let them into our final. You know what? In that first 20 minutes, they didn't even cross the halfway line. All of a sudden, the second half, we're backing up, allowing them into our attacking third. Why?
Yeah, we switched off in that start of the second half. Absolutely. Because I remember when we popped on Saturday, me and Sam were discussing it, and it was like, dude, like they're not even threatening. There was zero worry about Leicester's attack in that first half. And then all of a sudden, it just switched off. Can't do that.
Hey,
And it got lucky. We got really lucky Saturday because that screamed 2-2 there, and the corners weren't going in. But I agree with you, and it's the thing: 90% of goals, somebody failed to be where they're supposed to be on defense. There's always someone that left someone with too much space. It's just story. There's a few worldlies out there, which I'm gonna give Justin James credit on that one. That was if you were gonna say, "Hey, I want you to fall in love with our sport," that's the goal you're gonna show. But needless to say, Trossard failed. I noticed Calafiore. I don't know if you guys discussed it. he seems to creep in a little bit too much to the middle. I've noticed it. I noticed a little bit on Saturday. A couple times where teams with elite back wingers could have a run in if that back post is wide open. That's something I noticed from him. I think he's a better sound defender than Zinchenko. I think that's argument. No argument there. But I do worry that he's a little bit. Timber's better positionally than I think Calafiore is. I think Timber's the one that's got the most discipline when you ask him to do inversions. That's something
I haven't paid attention to it this year, but last year, the few games we got to see Timber, he would stop right at the halfway line. He wouldn't really go past it. And yes, I was talking to Gary about it earlier because I said since we switched to Calafiore being our center back, we've let in these 4 goals all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I think part of it's, I think a lot of it's the positioning and the way Arteta wants us to play, wants him going forward, but they have to stop at some point and play defense because they are.
You know, and that comes
To
from
do
leadership,
defensive
right?
back.
That comes from leadership because if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know why the second half started the way it did, but like halfway through a half, as a defender, you're watching your offense struggle to put the ball into the net. As a defender, you're like, well, damn, you know what? They are going to get chances. It happens in every game. No team is 100% perfect on the defense. They're going to get the ball into the attacking third. You need to shut them down, right? And I don't think we get that like little tingly, little spidey sense thing. That guess what? The game's getting away from us a little bit, and then we're just going to stop this right now, all right, and get back to what we did before, like we did in the first 20 minutes of the game, right? I don't. Like I said, what Arteta said to them at halftime. Yeah. And you know what, Brownie? We can beat most teams 5-0, and it's not arrogance. It's just if you've been watching Arsenal, which you're not, obviously, if you think it's arrogance, then you wouldn't understand that we give away more goals than we score. We have more than enough opportunities to get 3 to 5 goals in a game, and especially in the last game against Leicester City, that could have, if on a perfect day, that could have had 8 goals on it. Right, on a perfect day. We're not perfect, so that so you'll settle for the 4 or 5. But I kind of felt like I'm just looking at the team and what we do, and it's not arrogance. It's just if you're watching the team, you just see what they do, and it's easy to expect them to be able to do these types of things, especially when they're playing teams that are going to give them those opportunities. That's right. 5 teams haven't even won yet. One of them being Leicester City.
Hey, Gary, if I may on this one, because what Brownie was saying, and I think Lee Judges, and I don't really watch a lot of fan cams, but I really respect what Lee Judges and James B say of AFTV. Those 2 guys I definitely listen to. And Lee Judges made an interesting point. He said, we can't keep doing this to newly promoted teams, allowing them to score 2 goals like this and starting slow. Now, granted, like you said, we shouldn't be able to win 5-0 every game, but we should be able to keep a clean sheet against Leicester. There's no question in my mind on that. That should have happened.
Brighton.
Yeah. And look, Chelsea smashed Brighton 4-2.
Yeah.
So, I know every game has its own story and its own, set of circumstances, but we have to be better against these newly promoted teams. We just have to. Our issues last year, the reason we lost the title is because our home form was poor. We were really good on the road. I don't know if it's preparation. I don't know what it is, but we can't find a way to win this title this year if we're not better at home.
Yeah.
Protect your turf. Period.
Yeah, and that's and I think that's coaching right now. It's coaching because when we go on the road, we play much better. For me, defensively, I believe sometimes, and like we come home and it's almost like we let down our laurels in terms of like what we like. I told you, we go into the City match, and it's going to come down to our defense. Remember, I said that over and over and over again, and it was our defense that basically was able. Like I was expecting us to have to play man down, but the defense is what kept us in that game and gave us a chance to win. And it was gonna, and I said Gabriel may score. all those types of things. And you know what? If that's a weapon you've got, then you take it. See, the Moreno, Erdegaard, Rice midfield, that we'll see how that goes. But like right now, we don't have that, so we need to. We're not that bad that we have to wait. I don't like wait. We don't have to wait for this midfield to play better football.
I do think Stefan and Brownie are right that anybody can beat anybody at any time in this league, 100%, and they're not wrong on that. But when all things are equal, and I don't think what Gary's saying is about an arrogance thing. Like we're Arsenal, our bad should beat you. It's the fact that we need to just show up and do our job. If all things are equal and we show up and just do our job, we're going to win, period, because the talent level's better.
Yeah.
But what we saw on Saturday was just a switch off. And teams lose titles by switching off.
True.
And I think that's my concern. I was a little, the City goal we gave up, conceded, I can live with that. But what we did on Saturday against Leicester, I can't live with that. That has to be better.
Yeah.
We've got better players.
And it's all about the things that happened before the shot. Everybody looks at the shot and goes, the shot was, lucky shot. Well, why did he even get an opportunity to take the shot? They didn't get those opportunities early in the game. There's a reason for that, So like I said, I don't. It's not arrogance. It's more just looking at what we've been doing, the way we've been playing. Like I'll tell you, our defense can shut out everybody, right? That we play, it can. Is that arrogance? No. But if you've been watching, which a lot of you have, you can see our defense is really good when they want to be. All right.
Or that first half, we could have had 4 goals. Like I said, this would have been an easy 5-0 win. And nobody seemed to want to play starting off the second half. Even the announcers were shocked by that first goal by Leicester because it kind of came out of nowhere because we were totally dominating the game. And you have this one lapse, then it's 2-1, and somehow it's 2-2, which it should have never been. And then you're fighting for 25 minutes. I know Spencer wasn't here, but for me, it seemed like we were just wanting to get corners so Gabriel could keep heading it in there. It's like I'm tired of seeing Gabriel head balls. He like 5 times in a row. His head hit the ball and it went towards the net. Yeah, he's good at them, but that shouldn't be what you're relying on.
Yep.
But the Leicester keeper gets credit too. I mean, if we're going to be all honest, he played on his head. But I think this is the thing here, right, Gary? Like, and Tony, like, Arsenal seems to play really well against the top 6. That's wide open games. We can kind of do our defending, but when we get play, and this is like I said it in the group chat, Gary, if we can win against these low block teams, that's where the key to winning the title is. Position 7 through 20th. Because I think 14 games, 3, I think it's about 87 points or something like that. Please project my math, chat room. But either way, that's 87 points if you win home and away against the bottom 14. And, so that's it right there. Then you just have to do what you have to do against the top 6. Win your home game, split your away, and you should win the title. I mean, granted, and like Stefan said, invincible seasons don't happen. They don't. In the English top flight, Preston North End and Arsenal are the only teams that have won titles undefeated. You're not going to go undefeated. But you're going to lose games. You're going to have games where you just don't show up. But what happened on Saturday when you already have a 2-0 lead, that's when it's less than acceptable.
Yeah.
Because you're up. It's like playing a prevent defense in football, Gary. Like
I'm not. It's not the arrogance. It's the way that we've been playing. The things that are happening are out of character for the squad, right? The way things are happening. Like we've always complained about the clinicalness of the striking. That's always been a problem. So that's not what I'm talking about. It's the other things, other little things, right? As far as the defensive pressure that we put on. Sometimes you put pressure on a team because your offense is better, right? When your offense is a threat, right? You win. You play good defense with the offense. And right now, our offense is when we score goals because we're missing some of our key pieces, right? Erdegaard was one of the top presses for us on the team. We don't have that. It's not the press isn't the same as without him. No matter who we put in there right now, we can put in different players, but I don't think anybody has that. It has that kind of a pressing ability that he has. So
Do you know what Odegaard does pressing though, Gary? And I sorry to interrupt you because I want to. Your point's right, but he holds other people accountable pressing. That's what he does. It's not only his pressing, but he, hey man, get up there and get on your man, get over there and get in that position over there. That's what you miss from Odegaard, that on the field maestro-ness, shall we say, of not just finding the pass for the potential shot on goal, but also setting up the defenders, getting Partey where he needs to be, getting Rice where he needs to be, pick the spot. That's what you miss. And I just don't know, maybe Declan at the 6 is the answer, so he can sit back and kind of push people up and do his maestro work from back there, not playing at the 8. Because it's a little bit more demanding of a role playing 8x6 box to box, but that's what you miss from Odegaard. You miss that leadership, the ability to maestro on the field, the extension of Arteta's arm, right? And here's the other thing with Arteta and the Cronkies. They've raised the expectations, right? So the expectations we have for this team are now higher than what we had in years past. So that's why there is maybe a little bit of arrogance and a little bit of higher expectations. We expect more. The talent level is there. It's not Mustafi and Socrates on the back line. It's Gabriel Saliba, right? It's not Rob Holding anymore. It's Calafiore. You see what I'm saying? So the expectation's raised.
I can't remember what it is, like what we've spent the last 4 years on defense, but it's way up there.
I know. I mean,
probably around the 400 million range if you include the goalkeepers.
Yeah.
And now
just think about it. 100 of it is just for Rice, right? Yeah. Another 50 is for Partey. I mean, and then we just paid 40 for Calafiore, right? Almost 200 right there with 3 players, right?
You got to spend money to
Gabriel,
make
money. Marino is kind of in between. Right. Gabriel is the cheapest one. Timber was another 30, 40, or I guess 30, I think, for Timber. Right. Ben White was what? Another was 50. Ben White was 50. I mean, we're talking, we're almost to 400 on about 5 or 6 players. So, yeah, the defense has been, you know what? You spent a lot of money. The defense is good. They need to be better for longer. They can't have the lapses, but I kind of felt like when your midfield is decimated like it is and we don't have our key pieces there, that's when things have to be toned down a little bit because we are putting ourselves at risk, and we are going to get that loss because we have players out of position. Anders joins us. Welcome to the show, Anders. Yeah. I don't think we'll be invincible, but I kind of felt like, you know what, if you don't try to be invincible, then guess what, you won't be easily. And you strive for perfection, and you'll settle for what happens after that. Yeah. Ten Hag spent a lot more money than us in a short amount of time, and his team is terrible. And I think, and that's for me, like Chelsea is really good offensively, but on the defensive side, right? They scored 4 goals and a half, and it still was a 4-2 match, right? All right, and I kind of feel like their defense is suspect. So they might be able to beat you for 4-3, but they're going to give up goals as well. Yeah. Yeah. Brownie, I love you. You bring all this stuff. Yeah. We're analyzing a game. Is it everything perfect in a game? No. What do you want us to do? Just say all the good things that happened? We scored 4 goals. We won. Let's go home. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to analyze it.
I mean, look,
guess what? Because think about it. You know what? The thing that I will say and all the time is the things that we complain about are the things that come back to haunt us in the games when everybody's like, why didn't you do this? What how comes that happened? And it's like, you know why? Because I saw it in the last game. I saw that in the last 5 games. I've been seeing that since Arteta's been here.
But why isn't why isn't one of the assistants coming in there and saying, hey, we need to correct this? And even going to the player group that the individual coach is trying to manage and coach, it's like somebody needs to say it. I mean, if we see it, me and Gary, we've called it about the same way for a year and a half now. Being clinical at the striker, our midfield just doesn't have enough teeth. You don't see sliding tackles when the other teams are headed towards the goal. You just see them running into free space, and that's based on largely where our fullbacks are, which Arteta wants. But you can't attack with your defense all the time. You got these two wingers and striker. You need to use them, not relying on your defense. Because, like I said, you had Calafiori going forward. Sorry, I had a pause there, Gary. They're not calling Calamari because it's in my head. It's Calamari. But you have him and Timber going forward. Timber a little bit more disciplined. But you shouldn't be relying on them. You shouldn't be relying on Gabriel's headers.
You know what?
If-
I think that doesn't make any sense to me. You
Yeah,
rely
but you
on your
shouldn't. Right?
you rely on your weapons,
Yeah, it's
right?
a
And once
weapon,
again,
but
once again, that's almost like saying, guess what? I'm not going to rely on Henri to do what he does every game. No, you do. That's you have him on your squad. You rely on him to do what he does every game. When he
yeah,
does
but
it,
he
then you
gets
know
four or five goals a year, Gary. You're not
it
gonna.
doesn't matter how you score the goal, does it? The man's only scored 2 goals out of the, what, 10 that we scored this season? How many goals have we scored this season? 12? Yeah, and you know what? The reason why his scores stick out is because guess what? Guy Martin Jesus has not scored, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's we finally got Martinelli scoring, right? So I kind of felt like when you have a weapon, you use that. I don't get this. Why would you not take advantage of one of your advantages? It makes no sense.
Yeah, but you did the same thing. It seemed like 6 to 8 headers in a row.
We did not go out there and say kick the ball off of a player to go out so we can kick a corner. No, we hesitated on the ball. They blocked it. It went out for a corner. Now you get in position. He's not coming up there kicking the ball off players so that we can set up for a corner. That's not how it happens. It just when you get that opportunity, you take it. Right? It's a free kick. Like that's almost like saying when you've got like who's the guy from Southampton who would just a free kick so you get like 6 or 7 free
Ward
kicks.
Prowse.
Ward Prowse, right? Why would you not want him to? That's almost like saying let's not have him take it because you know what he scores them all the damn time. No, you let him take it because he scores more than everybody else. It's a weapon you have in your tool belt, right? You take it. Why
Yeah,
would you want to do that?
you shouldn't be using it all the time, though.
We're not using it all the time. It's only when we have a corner. It's not our fault that we get 11 corners sometimes in a game, late in the game when the other team's scrambling to block everything that goes into their
I,
net.
I think it is our fault because we don't control and hold on to the ball enough at the end of those games, and the teams let us play for our corner instead of trying to get a goal.
I'm going to be on the other side of the fence on this one. I think if you have an opportunity to score and you have a weapon that you can use, you use it. I don't feel like I don't see any negative in that. All right. I don't see any negative in that. All right. Give a ball to somebody in space and let them run at the defense. If that's how you score, that's how you score. All right. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't there? I mean, this is sort of thing, and maybe I could be
I'm
wrong.
not berating him. I just don't think not utilizing Gabrielle on corners is it. I think you take it away from one of your positives in the game.
The one thing I'm going to defend Arteta on, all right, is that we always argued about Arsenal only having one way to play. We've seen this team play multiple ways this season alone. We've seen them sit back and low blocks. We've seen them play 6 at the back. They can play in multiple different ways. And there was a comment that was said earlier. So as much as we seem like we're berating Arteta, and I'm an Arteta in guy. The Arteta in, Arteta out thing is so stupid. It's even dumb that I brought it up, and I apologize to you. And God may pity on my soul for bringing it up. But I'll say this much. Nathan Nowari, when he came on, it opened up. I want to see more of him this season. There's a footballer there. I think we need to not be scared of his age. I'm not saying that he needs to start games against City away and all that stuff, but he needs to go in this team. He's confident. He opened that game up. Yeah, I need to see more of that.
You know what? He's no different than Calafiori in the sense that they come out there and they've got sometimes a one-track mind, all right? And for me, it's usually energy.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, they bring energy to the pitch when they come on. I mean, it's 2-2. He comes into a match, right? What you think he's just gonna dribble around and get into some space? No, he's looking to score. Like, think about it. We brought Calafiori into the Atalanta game, and what was he looking to do? Get us up the pitch like yesterday. He's like, I'm not waiting for tomorrow. I'm going to today. And I think that kind of energy, you might have to control it a little bit, but we don't have that.
I'll tell you who's benefited from Calafiori. Martinelli absolutely has benefited from being on the pitch.
Yeah.
We've seen a better Martinelli in the last week alone.
Yeah. So Tony, talk to me about Ethan, man.
Yeah, I said it Monday. I said it Thursday on the fan circle that he should be starting. He's proved that he can do it. And I don't think we're really losing anything with him on the pitch. Because you're gaining the energy. That's something I feel like we lack. And I think that's what's part of the second half. We didn't come out with any energy, and bang, we get a goal in the back of the net. And then it's suddenly 2-2. In the game, we totally dominated for the 45 minutes and extra time. It's just like, I don't understand the second half, but I definitely think energy helps that if you have it there. And I think that's something that Odegaard does maybe too much because he's tracking back playing defense a lot more than he should be attacking. I think some of this is the pitfalls of Arteta's style of playing with two attacking fullbacks. You have this opportunity to have acres of space because we don't have enough teeth in the midfield that if the ball's turned over, then the team's usually running into space, and that shouldn't be happening with all this money we've spent on defense.
Yep. No, I hear you. No, for me, Nweri coming in doing what he's doing, I thought he should have already had minutes going into the Brighton game already. So, and hopefully he gets more minutes now. Every time he's come on, he's been definitely a firecracker and getting us energized and ready to go. He deserves some minutes. I think it's 17 is a number, but the way he's been playing, I think he deserves it. So. Probably maybe not PSG. Maybe he'll come in late in PSG if needed. But I kind of felt like he needs to get starts sooner. Like because at some point it's going to be, Erdegaard will be back, and then it will be he won't get any starts. And I feel like even that's still a negative. I think he deserves starts even with Martin in the squad healthy, because I think he's good enough to start games for us. Even if that means they both play. But I think at some point he needs to get some minutes as well, some substantial minutes, because he brings us something that we don't have, and he is looking to shoot, and he has scored. We've seen him score against Bolton. Not that that's a good barometer, but I think not everybody's scoring against Bolton either. So so when we're scoring, we should take it. We got a couple comments here. Yeah, no, given oppositions will get opportunities in every game. I agree with that. They just don't need to score when that happens every time. We've seen these kind of lapses in our defense, and they score. It seems every time, right? We saw it in Brighton when we need to get our defense in order. We give up a goal. Similarly to the City game where we need to settle in, give a goal right through the middle. That can't happen. Yeah, it's impossible to be on the front foot for the full 90. That's why we need to score our goals in the first 70. We're getting all the opportunities. If we're scoring 3 and 4 goals in the 70 minutes that we have, game plays out totally different. Totally different.
You put that last one up.
Huh?
Someone saying I was right. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I don't. He's been, that guy.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, sometimes it's a little foggy in the room that he's in. So I don't know how much he's actually listened to you.
Listen, I know I may ramble and I know I may be boring, but I appreciate somebody reminding me, right?
I'm kidding, right? I hope you know I'm kidding.
Oh no, I know you're kidding, but we have time to kill, Gary, so we can make jokes whenever we need to.
All right, yeah. No, Calafiore, Timber, 2 more chaos factors. I Timber, as Tony said, is a little bit more reserved to Calafiore, but he's a lot more than Ben White. I miss Ben White because I miss his needling on the free kicks. So we need all of that. I think this season to get by. We always talk about it doesn't matter. Like we have answers all across the board on the back line, so we should see them all, and we should keep that should keep them fresh and hungry. And that's kind of what we want. Yeah, and Bronco in VA giving us some scientific. I don't even know what they call this thing. He calls it the universe rule. I think there's
Newton's laws.
There you
so
go,
basically, my point here is that just because your action on the field is this, it doesn't mean that the opposition will not give you just an equal but a better reaction too. So your best on a day may not be better than Leicester's one day. It just happens.
True.
I know your conference loves to say the SEC, it just means more, but it happens in the Premier League, So, I'm just happy that we found a way to pull it out. I'm upset about what happened and that we got to the 2-2. I'm absolutely upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad we still found a way to get through. So I'm still thankful.
Yeah, no, those last 30 minutes, 35 minutes or whatever. Yeah. That's when we sit there and you hear the commentator saying it's just a matter of when that goal happens.
How many times in the last 2 years, Gary, we were in those moments where it ain't happening today. But this on Saturday, you were like, it's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen eventually.
We were working hard to get that ball in the net. Yeah, no. So I think, like I said, it's not every year we look back and we go, it's not the same team as it was last year. And it's always a positive reason for that. We're at that again, right? We're at that point again where this is not the same team. You might have a good day, but we're gonna have a better day because we're gonna put ourselves in position to have a better day. So
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
And even if we're being critical, that's why coaches watch tape. That's why they watch the game with the players, because you learn from your mistakes. You say, hey, you need to put energy out to start these halves or whatever. And I think there needs to be a coach that speaks louder, that gets to them, because whatever Arteta is saying at half is not good. Because it's total day and night the difference between our first half and second half. Yeah, we'll probably find a way to pull it out in the end, but that game should have never been 2-2. I
think that's what we're saying, but they're saying we're complaining and stuff like that, and it's like, you know what? These are like when we go back at the end of the season, when the situation that happened on Saturday happens and we drop points in a game that we should have won, nobody's going to say, well, this and that, and the other. And we're like, well, we saw that. Remember that in the game we won 4-2? We saw exactly that. But this time we didn't score 4 goals. Right. So instead of maybe pulling out a draw, we lose 2-1 because we only get 1 ball across the goal line. You know what I mean? So that's what we're looking at. Everybody keeps saying it's still probably City's to lose. So if that's the case, we have to be playing close to perfect. And we said that even last year. We're like, we lost one game in 2024. Guess how many games we've lost in 2024 so far? Just the one game. Just that one game so far. We've been near perfect, right? And is it enough? No, we're still not at the top of the table. So that's why all these little things that we don't do are important to us because we know.
That's why your name of the show comes in there, because we just
Don't waste a trip, man. DWTT stands. It's
I'm saying
well, you mean that the
this
4-2 means more attacking work needed for sure. Yeah.
just,
Yeah. And you look at that right now. BX Gunner talks about it's Alabama's 17-year-old basically closed the game.
I fell asleep at the end of that, dude. I didn't watch the end of it.
It was crazy watching it. It's like I was like, this is the Red River Showdown, basically. This scoring back and forth. Nobody can play defense. You're like, what in the world? This is like the Big 12. It's supposed to be the SEC, you know?
So look, I'm gonna say this real quick. I know you hate Broncos talk, but 12-25, 60 yards, still got a 10-9 win. You don't see me complaining. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take wins however I can get them.
Well, but you know what? But that's because there's what I always say. There's levels to this thing, my man. And there's levels right now. Denver's level isn't at like a Chiefs level, right?
It's we're like the Cleveland Browns from years ago. If that gives anybody.
Yeah, if you can win with defense, so Tony will tell you that you shouldn't try to use your strength to win games. And I'm going to say you use all the strength. Like if you are really good at defense and you can win 1-0, who cares how ugly it looks?
Yeah,
right?
But it just seemed like our plan was in the second half. It didn't seem like we had any other attacking.
How many missed shots did we have in that half, though, Tony? In that second half, when we started to get back in the game, how many opportunities did we have where we could have scored and we didn't? I don't think that's planned so that we can take a corner. I think that's just we missed our mark, right? That's what I think, anyways. Stan joins us. Welcome to the show, Stan. Stan was on with us, I guess, the last couple of weeks, so he's been probably working today. But yeah, welcome to the show. I don't know who this Norman Stanley Fletcher thing is. Is that Stan? I don't know. Yep. Yeah, I'm oblivious to this Fletcher guy. You guys you need to bring pull the dictionary out and tell me what all this stuff means. I don't know. I guess you saw it. I don't know if you saw it or not. We were just talking about Nweri hopefully getting introduced to getting more minutes into the game, and soon it looks like Mikel Merino will also be in there fighting for minutes as well. He was out there practicing today. There was at one point where he actually jumped on the back of Gabriel, which I thought was funny. So hopefully that means he'll, some people are saying maybe he'll play tomorrow. I don't know if that might be, if he's ready to go, then he should get a shirt.
That would be a little ballsy though.
If he's ready to play, then he should get a shirt.
Yeah,
absolutely, no question.
I don't know.
The shoulder injury is different though.
We're not going to put another kid. Why are we going to put we're putting academy kids on our bench right now. You're telling me you wouldn't rather have Mikel Moreno on our bench instead of Kukuzi?
Look,
he's probably not going to get in the game.
This right now, Gary. Lewis Skelly and Nweri are some dogs. We need them at every fight. They've proven they're dogs. I don't know about Kukuzi or whoever you're talking about, but my argument is, if Mourinho's shoulder was the problem, he could still kept his cardio up. He could still get on the bike, still run, do all these other things to keep himself. I know there's a difference between fitness levels, fitness and game fitness. He should get a shirt tomorrow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's too far of a stretch. It's Champions League. You already started off with a draw. You don't want a loss.
I'm not saying he has to start, Tony.
Oh yeah, he'd be a substitute.
He gets a shirt. He's on the bench. You don't even want him on the bench?
And what if you slap him 4-0 in the first half tomorrow, and you don't need to put Mourinho out at all? But you got him there. It's like bringing a condom, Toady. You may not need it, but you'd rather have it than not have it. Sorry, Gary, I had to do it.
So yeah, it's protection for sure. But
Absolutely.
I just if like I'm saying, this is all up to the doctors. Really, it's not even up to Arteta because I know Arteta would play him if he could. But it's up to the doctors, and if they're allowing him to practice, because supposedly him being in practice is that's a big stepping stone to him getting basically back onto the pitch regularly. So
Yeah,
if he,
but usually, Gary, you don't do what you do with Granit Xhaka. He would go and he would just go for first game back in full training, none of this alone training stuff, none of this non-contact stuff. But you got somebody that hasn't played in Premier League. He should do the no contact stuff. Then he should do the under 21 game.
well, you don't even know if he hasn't done it.
Then you put him in
You have no
the
clue what
Champions
he's
League.
done, but we already seen him in practice, moving around and all of that. So, like I said, he could have been doing all that stuff on the side, the non-contact stuff that you're talking about. But he's in practice, and that's as close.
I don't know. We usually hear about it when they're in the no
Well, we
contact.
obviously don't because you even said it with Xhaka. All of a sudden, he was healthy and he was back in the
Yeah,
game
but
after supposedly blowing out his
he
knee.
didn't do it though. He didn't do, but he just went straight in.
And some players don't need it. So maybe Mikel's one of those players, right? Maybe Mikel is one of those players.
I don't think Gary's making
gamble.
I don't think Gary's making an argument that he has to play, Tony. I think it's the bare minimum. Is like he needs to be on the bench. If you can do a 10-minute cameo, I don't think that's the end of the world. And what if you take care of business? I know Stefan said PSG aren't mugs, and they're not.
No.
But we don't know how different they are without Mbappe.
Yeah, no, think about it. We said the same thing going into the Atalanta game, right?
Yeah.
They're not mugs either, and we had to play them on the road without Erdegaard, and we still walked out of there without, I think we are in a better situation now with our squad now than we've been in years. Like we're missing some important pieces. We're still able to perform, right? So I kind of felt like we're in a better position than we've been in a while. So, PSG, yeah, go ahead.
One thing I wanted to bring up, and I know the group chat on Sunday was going nuts over it. Is Calafiori hurt, or was that just
he was practicing? There's a picture of him and Marino. He's out there running. Like I think it was just it's one of those like tweaks probably. Like he thought he did something, but he was in it. He was in there practicing. There was nothing holding him back. No straps or anything like that. So, more than likely he'll start. Based on what I saw in the practice today.
Okay, good. I was worried because I saw that was the thing that was roaming around, and I was like, well, let's see. Yeah. So, but I think tomorrow, you got to get 3 points. I think tomorrow is a must win. It's not like every game is, right? But the fact that you already took a draw on the road, you're going to have eight of these games, 4 at home, 4 on the road, top 8 advance. You want to be part of that top 8 if you can. It's going to be hard. I think if you really inject truth serum and start talking about teams around Europe and who's who, does Arsenal make that top 8? It's hard to say.
If he's doing sliding tackles, then I think the contact part of his game isn't going to be an issue. All right, so I kind of felt like he sounds like he should be able to play. Who start? I don't know if he's ready for starting. Maybe next week when we start Marino and Wary in the midfield with Rice, right? Give Partey a rest.
There you go.
We're playing Southampton. If we can't get something out of that game, I know it's the first game for Moreno if it happens. But with Wary there and Rice, I think that means we still got a ways to go in our depth, right? And if they don't travel well, perfect, because the fans will be up for it. Home game, first game of the Champions League at home, fans will be definitely up for it. Crowd will be crazy, and they can use that for energy. Yeah. Celtics do that. Like it seems like every Champions League, they just go in there and blow a team out all the time. It always seems like them and the Rangers. Sorry, I said the Rangers. Yes, but it always seems like they when they have an opportunity to score, they take it and they run with it. And I think in this setup, in terms of how things are, the more goals you can score, the better. I mean, we're sitting 8 goal difference from the top of the table right now in the Champions League. 8 goals we are behind. Only one game's been played. We're 8 goals behind already. I mean, come on. So I kind of feel like, we're going to have to score some goals, but we're going to have to continue to play our defense.
I think to get out, if you're going to fall out of that 16, I think you'd have to have a horrific Champions League performance to not make this 16. It can happen, right? It can happen, and I think tomorrow night's the start of it. You take care of your business at home, win your home games. That's 12 points. The bare minimum draw, 15, 16 points out of it. Maybe sneak a road game. I don't know. I don't know how the math's going to equal out. That 24 is the top you can get. 8 times 3, 24. I would imagine 16 would get you on to the maybe 9th place. But yeah, I mean, it's be critical to have a good performance tomorrow night. And if Mikel Moreno can play, we paid for him, make him play. Even if it's a cameo off the bench.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If he can play. Points on
but
the
I see your
board
point, Tony. I absolutely see where you're coming from, worrying about the injury, because there is a potential that if he does get hurt, you'll lose him again. I see that. I don't think you're wrong on that, but I think, like Gary said, it's going to be up to the physios whether he's ready to go. And I think if he's ready for selection, I think Arteta is going to select him to at least be in the squad.
I think that's why we've had some of these longer term injuries, because they bring them back too early. Because I think Arteta just like, go out there and play. It doesn't matter if you played all the way through the World Cup or whatever, because you've seen what he does with. Because Saka shouldn't played the first week of the Premier League last season, but he did. Should have really played the second week, but it's Arteta. He's going to play somebody as long as they're able to be upright, it seems like.
Well, I think there's also competition in the squad now too, right? Players that might have sat out for a small little niggle is now saying, I'm going to play through this. I do think that is an aspect now. If you're Partey, the writing's on the wall. Declan Rice is at the club. Mikel Moreno's at the club. Jorginho's there, So there is a little bit of, I need to be healthy. Calafiori, Tommy Asu need to find a way to get healthy. Kieran Tierney, I don't know what's going, but you know what I'm saying? Like, players that might have taken it cautious are now probably forced to push through things that they normally would, because their starting lines there's competition at positions. The only one that maybe not have competition as position is potentially Saka, maybe. And even David Raya, like, let's be fair, Neto's not, come on. But you know what I'm saying? So there's competition at left wing, striker, there's even Jesus, right? So if Jesus becomes the hot hand, Havertz could fall back. Like, there's all sorts of arguments here. But yeah, it's the Champions League format with the new league. I think tomorrow is a critical, must win. I think you could live with Atalanta the first game, a draw, given the injuries, where we were, Tottenham with Man City squished in between. I can live with a draw. We're fortunate enough to not lose that game, but thank you, David Raya, for the good save. But this is a statement game. Get out there, put them away early if you can. You got Southampton on the weekend. You need a good showing. That's what we need.
I'm with you. Yep. Go ahead, Tom.
That's just when you play balls out, you go out there and put what you can into a game, and they need to show that for 90 minutes, not just go in there in the one half, try to dominate, and the second come out in this relaxed atmosphere. You definitely can't do that against PSG. You need intestinal fortitude to be the better way than saying balls out, but you gotta go out there and give it your all. Hopefully we do that tomorrow. If not, I don't like getting 1 or 2 points out of the first 2 games.
Yeah, well, the only way you do that,
new format.
The one way you do that is you just put your best team out there, though, right? I mean, that's the only way that's the best way. That's the only way that's the one way that happens, right? You put your best team out there, and you'll get that. I was just trying to look at how PSG has done over the last couple of games. They started out pretty big. They scored 10 goals in their first. Yeah, they scored 10 goals in their first 2 games, and then I think they've scored probably 10 in the next 4 games. So they've been scoring goals a lot more than us for sure. But I don't know how Rennes and Reims and Brest and Lille, Montpellier and Le Havre, how they stack up against some of the teams that we've played. I like to think we may have had a tougher schedule than they did going into this thing. So we are definitely battle tested. We just need to go out there and, stop them and put our shots away. Put our shots away. They are sitting, actually, they have got a win in the Champions League. They played Girona first. They won 1-0 at home. So we're at home. We need to get that win. So, yeah, I think head to head it's Arsenal is 1-1 and PSG has not won. So, yeah, no, I kind of feel like, once again, we have more than enough answers to the questions that PSG will pose to us.
So do you start with 17-year-old? I do.
In the Champions League, so I see. If you think Marino starting is a risk, but you're okay putting in Weary into a Champions League home opener, I think that's probably riskier for me.
Well, he showed it. I don't think it matters with competition.
His first start, you're going to put him in a big in one of the big in the Champions League,
he
the
should
Premier
have
League.
started this weekend. He should have.
But he didn't, so that shows you where he's probably not going to start tomorrow. I kind of read the tea leaves. The tea leaves tell me he's probably not going to start tomorrow. I'd be happy. I've been wanting him to play for a while now, right? Since I saw him last year, I wanted him to play. Right? I just feel like sometimes you see something and you're like, yeah, like that's what we're missing, some of that. That the stuff that he's bringing to us right now, that was there last year. None of that's changed in my eyes. We just didn't give him an opportunity. Right?
No, it's weird. You played him the year before in one game. I don't know if they did it on purpose.
That was marketing, though.
Break the record of the youngest
youngest
player to play in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of marketing and not really football. I don't think it had anything to do with football.
Yeah, I don't know if he starts this week. No worry.
Southampton, I can see him starting on the weekend. We play Southampton.
That would be the one. That would be the one if there is going to be one. But I will say this: Arteta has turned to him in some big moments.
Yeah,
Spurs away, and then 2-2. We're at home. We're on the ropes. Go find us. That's a big statement from Arteta.
Think about it. We play Southampton, Bournemouth on the road, and Shakhtar at home. Those are 3 good games for him if he wanted to start him. I mean, you might not start in the Shakhtar game just because the next game after that is Liverpool. And unless he's our full-time starter, Trossard probably will get some starts in there somehow.
But that Liverpool game is the
27th.
Yes. So do we know the Odegaard timeline yet? Are we?
Yeah. Don't know if that. I thought it was the end of the month. So
last week they said he would be available after the international break. So
and international break is after the Southampton game. No, sorry, after the Southampton game. So we have the Southampton game, and then we have an international break again. So he'll be back by the end of the month, I think is what they said. That would kind of that would probably work right into that, because we play Preston after the Liverpool match, and that'd probably be a game he'll play, right?
League Cup.
Yep. So if he played Bournemouth, Southampton and Bournemouth, and then if Erdogan is healthy and plays in the Shakhtar Liverpool matches, right, then that'll be good games for him to kind of get vetted in. if he's
So
back.
something to think about here, and we're talking Moreno coming back. The Southampton game you said is a potential. And I don't know if this is BX for tomorrow. I don't know if I'd start in. I mean, I guess you could start in Warrior at home against the Champions League. I guess you could, but that's a tough one. But my thing is, like, if you want to put No Worry and Moreno in there, is that too much new at once? I know Moreno could be able to do it, right? But that's just you'd wonder about the familiarity. You're definitely throwing Rice at the 8, at the 6, right? So that's a guarantee as your linchpin. Yeah, I don't know. That's something to think about there. Whether do you want No Worry to get the minutes, or do you want Moreno to kind of get on the ground and start running? That's a good discussion, but I could see him getting a healthy 30, 40 minutes this weekend.
Yeah, Southampton would be and it's and it's the fact that Southampton's before the international break.
Yeah.
You know, like it'd be nice to get some minutes for Moreno if you could before he takes off, because I don't know if he even takes off. I know Erdogan isn't going he isn't going to be on the schedule to leave us, so he'll have time to work out. But Calafiori and Moreno, I think, are on the national team. So
it'd be nice if we could
Timber
say,
is
"Hey,
too.
can you guys skip it this time, please?"
Yeah, I mean, I think about it. Everybody except for Ben White in the back line will be leaving, and that's even if Tomiyasu was healthy, he probably would leave. I saw Tomiyasu was at practice today.
That's good.
So so we are getting our depth is getting stronger, and there'll be less and less academy kids on the bench going forward, hopefully. But yeah, no, it's BX Gunner's got it here. As you said, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber on the back line. That's probably, unless Ben White's healthy, that probably will stay as is. Partey, Rice, and Wary. We'll see about that. I think Trossard might get, Trossard still is a question there for that. Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. Yep. Martinelli has played what with Calafiori now? 2 games. He's got 3 GA. I said it. My only problem with that is he cannot be dependent on somebody else every time to help him. At some point, he has to overcome the whole I need this person to be playing with me so I can perform. Because guess what, Calafiori may not be there every time, and it isn't as if he's not in positions to do something without. He's been in positions all season. You know what I mean? Like some of those he's going to have to work out regardless. It can't be, it's only when Calafiori is there that I can actually perform. And I kind of felt like sometimes he's going to have to do it himself. Because every game is when they're gonna keep Calafiori busy and he won't be able to be there. So what happens then? Does he not perform? No. When he gets in those positions where he's going one-on-one with the defender and all he can see is the goalkeeper in front of him, he needs to make the right decisions. So
and most of the time he's have a different defender that's in that at least attacking in the midfield, so we're overloading the left side of the attack with players going forward. So I mean, it's nothing new for him. He should be doing it with or without Calafiori, seriously.
yeah, no. I kind of feel like he still needs to be able to perform regardless of who's playing. I mean, I think Saka has had to perform a lot of times. We talk about it with double and triple teams, right? And that's just the nature of the business sometimes. Liverpool always seems to raise themselves against the better sides, but have dropped points against teams they should be. Yeah, that's what you guys are saying about us. We struggle against the teams lower in the table than us and have some really good games against the top team. So, yeah, I think the consistency plays into that, right? The more consistent you are, you do the same things against the big teams that you do against the smaller teams. You're going to have a lot more control and probably win. Brownie's given us his thoughts. He's not impressed with the Champions League format. He prefers straight knockout football. True. To some degree, it's it's knockout football after the first round, like it is anyways, right? I mean, you play a home and away and knockout. You just get an extra round of it. That's all. I don't. So for me, It's the same. You still get in the knockout football, right? You just have more games 2 extra games to play, and maybe another 2 extra games to play, depending on how far you get. So it's all.
I'm just glad they didn't get the. They originally said it at 10 games. I'm glad it got whittled down to 8 games. I think they were probably making more play out of the 36 teams there. But
Yeah.
that's a part I'm not sure if I like, is the fact that you have 36 teams in it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
I mean, it's the Champions League. It's not the runners up and third place and fourth place. It's should be your top teams.
No longer the Los Blancos Cup. I don't even know what any of that means. I need the notes, the little cliff notes that they have, that go along with what the teacher's saying. I don't know what that means. Dumb it down for me, or Americanize it, whatever you want to say.
Brownie, stop using your 40 years of football knowledge.
Yeah, say something that we understand, right? Yeah, we're not as privy to all this information that you have. Some of it we like, some of it. All right, we've already hit the 90-minute mark, folks.
Yeah, that's what I was comment on that came fast.
So yeah, I think we probably should get out of here. I hope you've enjoyed what we talked about. Sounded like you did, and then sound like you didn't. But we got to chat nonetheless.
Get out while we're playing good, Gary.
Huh?
So get out while you're playing good. Just end it at halftime.
There we go. All right, so we're gonna get We don't want to go. We don't want to come out of halftime and be a little bit lax. So we're gonna do things while we're good here. All right, so I want everybody have their say, and then we're gonna get out of here. First up, Spencer.
I was responding to Brownie's comment about how he prefers knockout football, and I do agree with him on that. I would like to see the league format. However, if it was up to me for the Champions League, it would not be 9 versus 16. It would be 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, and then so forth, kind of like the NCAA tournament. That would be the way I would do that. With that being said, thanks everybody for coming by. I'm so sorry I was late to that. I did not expect today to be what it is, but it's been that way. I had a funeral I had to attend today for a fellow deputy I used to work with. The dude literally retired in August, hadn't even got a retirement check, and had a heart attack Thursday and passed away. So that's been a kind of a shit day for that. Went to that, and then, of course, Gary told you about the funny foreign. Now we have 6 animals in this house. Whatever. But anyway, Tony, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you tonight. Gary as well, chat room, Lolo, Stefan, everybody that's come by. It's been a good discussion. I kind of really needed this after today, and looking forward to seeing you guys. I'll probably pop in around halftime on Saturday because the watch alongs, Gary's always a minute and a half ahead of everybody, so it ruins it.
I might be further ahead than and I'll get into that as well.
I always tease Spencer.
All right, is that it? Is that that's it. Before you go? Is that it? Yeah,
that's it. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right, Tony. Say goodbye to the people.
I'm going to agree with Spencer here. I know Gary as being 30 seconds ahead. I still think he lives by a Google or Amazon server to get those faster speeds. Or he's just inside one of the servers, which I like the idea the best. But anyway, tomorrow is super important home game. So beat PSG and make us happy.
There you go. All right, everyone. So this is Spencer's how he wants things to be laid out. So instead of having 24 teams make it to the next round, only 16. But yeah. And what you got over here? Yeah. Lolo says condolences. Same thing with Stefan. Lolo liked the show. Thank you, Lolo. Yeah. So I guess I'll say my piece and then we'll get out. Tony, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't cut you off. Sorry.
Beat PSG. That's
yeah, take care there, Stefan. But one thing I like to say is, for me, Arsenal, Don't let the missed opportunities come back to haunt you. Finish your dinner, please, especially at home against PSG. I think our defense will be strong once again. Hopefully, they will wake. They'll take the 4 goals that not 4 goals, but yeah, the 4 goals in the 2 biggest games they played in the last week. Not be a trend. Is another big game in a Champions League game. Hopefully, we can get. It'd be nice to get a shutout, but also get a decent number of goals in as well. So hopefully that happens. And surprise, surprise for some anyways, next week or end of this week, I actually will be landing in London Friday morning. So I'll be there through the weekend. So we'll still do our shows. I don't know if I'll be able to do the Saturday show because I'm actually going to the women's game. So it might just be Mr. Tom and the crew once again. But I'll be in England through the weekend, and we'll see how the schedule goes as far as shows and stuff like that. We'll try and keep it as normal as we have. I'm going to take in one of my kids, see my dad, and do a little bit of touring and stuff like that, and maybe have a beverage or two. So yes, so that's what I'll be doing. Yeah. Arsenal, let's go get that win tomorrow and start off the week. Yeah, it's getting cold. Yeah, let's get out of here. All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining. We'll do this again. We'll do the student stadium tour. If I have time, I'll try that. My daughter's already going to the stadium to watch the match. I don't know if I can get her back to walk around it. Yeah. So we'll do this again.
Yeah, I heard the stadium tour is really good too.
Cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if she's up for that, but I'm not going to push it. I've already got her going to a game. So, but anyways, everybody, thank you for joining. We'll see you guys on the next one. If you haven't already, subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the next one. And as I like to say, life is a journey. Don't waste your trip. Enjoy the ride. There you go.